Tommy fucking nuts. Tommy, what's his nuts? Anyway, people.
Tommy Cutlets, baby.
Yeah.
Tommy DeVito.
Fucking dork. Anyway, so we're here, guys. Breaking down week 14. Yes, week 14. The recap. And what that means. And the first round of the playoffs in the books.
Playoff edition podcast. Let's go.
What'd you say?
Playoff edition podcast. First one of the season.
First one, round one. We got two more. So, I mean, in the NFL, as we were saying, another slate of injuries yet again. There's a lot of injuries in the modern NFL. There's always been a lot of injuries in the NFL, period. Mm-hmm. But it just seems like this year, like half the starting quarterbacks in the league are out. Like,
yes.
Like it's literally half of them. You know?
Yeah, quarterbacks have taken a beating this year.
Yeah, man. Justin Herbert gone for the year. Yet to be seen how that affects Mr. Allen. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. Probably will somewhat, you know.
I don't think somewhat. I don't think somewhat. I think it's going to be all the effect.
Yeah.
I think he's going to go from being a 21-point-a-week player to a 9-point-a-week player, and that could bury me.
Well, and the sad part of that is that in some cases, a la Jake Browning, you give the guy a few weeks to get comfortable, and he starts cooking, you know. And then Jake Browning Jake Browning got an injury in that game, and now he's going to be questionable.
We don't have a couple weeks.
We don't have a couple weeks.
No, I'm saying we don't have a couple weeks for him to develop that with Keenan. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's win or go home time. You know, win or die. That's what time of year is. So
I hope Easton Stick, I think is his name, gets out there. It's like, look, I got one guy, and that's who's getting the ball.
That guy sounds like you remember when you were in grade school and the teachers would tell you to buy a specific brand of like school equipment. That sounds like the glue stick that the teacher told you to buy.
The Easton Stick. It does.
Yeah, not a great name for a quarterback, but you know, whatever.
Isn't that the name of like the brand of baseball bats? Like you have an actual Easton Stick.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I bet that's maybe his dad was a baseball fan or something, and they named it because of that, or maybe his mom. I want to be sexist. You know, we have some lady baseball fans.
It's called softball.
Yeah, well, whatever, you know. We all know nobody watches softball. She likes baseball. All right, anyway, so call myself not a sexist and then make a sexist comment about right turn.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, injuries with the story. I mean, you also had CJ Stroud. He's not in the playoffs anymore. That's not really relevant to who's going to be champion.
Yeah.
But it is relevant to the Sacco Bowl. You know, he's in concussion protocol. Nico Collins also went down in that game, and they got shellacked by the Jets. I mean, they made Zach Wilson look good. 300 yards.
30 to what? 30 to 6, was it? Bad.
Yeah, they got smoked.
They looked like we thought Houston was going to look like at the beginning of the year.
Which is bad because the Jets had one of the worst offenses I've ever seen for the last 2 weeks. And then they lit them on fire.
I know. It's kind of wild because the Texans defense and specifically their secondary has been playing pretty well. So I don't know. I mean, they just came out flat that game or what, but they were not ready, clearly. You know, the interesting side note to that is it kind of gives the Jets, because of how muddled both divisions are with win-loss records, kind of gives the Jets an outside window of hope.
Kind of makes you think Aaron Rodgers is coming back to play
with the Dolphins blowing it to the fucking Titans when they had a 14-point lead with like 2 minutes left. It looked like the Titans had completely imploded and given it away, and I was pissed off because I'm like tired of slightly above average teams getting a pass from worse teams pulling boneheaded shit like that, and then they still won.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, who the hell is going to win the AFC this year? I mean, nobody's really separating. Probably Baltimore.
Right?
Yeah.
But
they're the best team.
They've had boneheaded weeks too, you know?
Oh, yeah, they've had.
But then you got the Chiefs blowing it against the Bills and Patrick Mahomes throwing a bitch fit. So it's like the Broncos could almost sneak into one of those.
No.
They won't. I'm just saying, like, based off record, off just paper, the other teams have not pulling away at all.
Okay, if the Broncos do get in the playoffs, and it actually makes me a little gaggy to say that, at least everyone they play will beat the shit out of them.
I don't know if that's true. And then the other
In
part
the
of it is
AFC, I don't know.
They're
What the fuck,
one
AFC?
game.
What
They're
happened?
one game from being the lead in their division and having a top 4 spot. The Broncos, the 1-5 Broncos, are now
Ugh.
one game behind the Kansas City World Champion Chiefs.
And they already beat the Chiefs, right? Or am I remembering that wrong?
They did.
They did.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was the flu game for Mahomes, but still, I mean, NFL's wild this year.
Do they play again?
Yeah, they've only played once. I don't know that for sure, but
no, they played twice already.
Okay.
Because there was the whole thing where Patty Mahomes was
you're right.
confidently joking with the center on the Broncos, saying, "We'll see you again in 2 weeks," and then they got smoked. So, yeah, it was a whole thing. But then you got the NFC. You know, this is a good lead into our playoff talk because we're talking about playoffs in the real NFL. But you got the NFC with a whole 6 teams with 6-7 records too. And then you got Minnesota at 7-6. So it's like
a 3-horse race and everybody else in the NFC though.
Yeah, of course. It's really 2, honestly. The Eagles are looking soft lately, man.
Soft.
They are. They're looking real soft lately.
Soft.
You know, but
Pillows.
At the end of the day, I think they're a team that also plays differently in their home stadium, clearly. You know,
I mean, don't tell that to San Francisco.
Yeah, well, San Fran's done that to everybody, by the way. I mean,
yeah, I'm just saying they did it to him in Philly. So, like,
yeah, but what I'm saying is Philly. When I've been watching them this year, they've played better at home. You know,
you can't write off what are they 10-3? You can't write off a 10-3 team.
No. And you know they got their butts handed to them. The boys gave them that business the other night.
Ugly, not a single offensive touchdown from Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it did not look good.
It's because he's average.
He's a solid running back.
He is. He's a really good running back. He can bench 600 pounds.
I know. They never stop telling you about it.
He can also squat like 700 something, you know.
But squat 600 pounds. Fuck me.
Yeah. He's not benching 600.
No, I just can't talk. Don't worry about me.
It's been a few. I was like, wait a minute. What?
Can also curl
it's been a tough week.
A whole ton.
A whole ton. An actual ton.
He can also hamstring curl 9,000 pounds.
Turns out he can also put the ball on the turf.
Yeah. And in the hands of the other team sometimes. But anyway,
3 fumbles in that game.
Yeah. I mean,
and they were all just like taken from them. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Did you watch all that game, Patrick?
I watched most of it. And then
it was a good one. It was a good one.
Steph Gilly, beast mode and all over them wide receivers too. Shut them down. Big, huge plays the whole game.
I mean,
not get any yards after the catch. You know,
does not look like a man who's been in the league for 12 years.
No, he doesn't. He looks like one of the top defenders still, and he is. I mean, he's proved that this year. But
whatever drugs they're giving him, keep on giving them.
Yeah, I mean, it's the NFL. They all should be on peds. You know?
They should.
I mean, come on. What are we doing?
They should be on steroids at least, just to like help them recover.
Yeah, well, I guarantee you they're all on the maximum amount of healthy testosterone. They're probably all on HGH when they get injured. And they're probably all most likely on the peptides, which is like the new HGH. And then, they're probably taking some steroids that are all right to take for an athlete that also needs to have some type of cardio. I would imagine that. If they're not, I mean, they're not trying, you know? So, but anyway, I don't really have anything else for stories. I mean, other than my Packers, again, as I was saying before we started this up, just laying a fucking egg. And even, Saquon, they put that stat up there. Saquon's had 2,000 carries or something, fumbled 3 times, and he gives them the ball in the weirdest way, gives them the chance to win the game. All you got to do is lock up some quarterback who can't throw the ball, really. Even though he threw the ball okay, but I mean, he had 100 yards. Like, you can't shut that team down for a minute.
He had 100 yards?
Yeah, he had 120 yards or something, and 80 yards rushing. Like
out there, fucking running around and throwing the ball like Tim Tebow. Love it.
It was wild, dude. And every time they would cut to his stupid family, Hey, everybody. Fucking dork.
You're the only one in America that doesn't like that right now.
Fuck
by the
out
way.
of my face.
I don't even like the
Out of my
Giants,
face.
and that's fun.
Yeah.
Fucking dork. Anyway, all right.
Yeah.
Last other league-wide note: are the Lions frauds?
The Bears certainly have their number. They almost beat them the first time around too. They took a
Maybe that's
giant
just it.
comeback from the Lions to win that.
Maybe
first
it's just
game, too.
Chicago. Because they look like they have gotten swampier as the season has gone on.
And without like many injuries outside of the
Mhm.
running back a little bit.
I agree.
Their defense seemed to have a few things figured out early on in the year, and lately they look like the Lions' defense of old. That's been the
And
real problem.
you can say that about their offense.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I
the
don't
last
know.
the last 5 games have all been really close. They almost lost to the Bears twice. They barely beat the Saints by less than a score. Lost to the Packers, and then barely beat the Chargers by 3. And the Chargers are garbage too. They don't
Chargers
look
are
good.
garbage.
Well, they're even more garbage now. But
Mhm.
yeah, the Lions are a very up and down team.
Mhm.
They are a team that you could easily see, like, if they get some type of weird momentum going the last 3 weeks of the year, maybe they could pull something strange in the playoffs because they have the talent.
Well, they
on
were
the offense.
5-1 until that Baltimore game, if you remember. And Baltimore beat the brakes off of them. 38.
Baltimore changed them.
It's almost like they gave the rest of the league, like, okay, this is how you do it, because we very clearly laid it out over 60 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, I think what you saw too, like what Cody said, is sometimes with teams like that are feeling like they're on top of the world, they're world beaters, they can play with anybody, and then a top team comes in and literally just makes them be like, you're not even close to being of the same caliber that we are right now. It could really rock their confidence, and maybe that is what happened because that
That's-
did, you know.
That's
Jared
like when
Goff
Dallas-
hasn't been the same since.
It's like when Dallas lost to the 49ers the way they did, but they just responded differently.
Yeah, they went through some hard times there where they didn't look great either. But Dak, they had that interview with him where he's talking about like he figured something out, and it certainly fucking looks like it.
Well,
I
it's,
remember
it's,
at-
drop.
it's his cadence. Like
and he
he,
stopped making such boneheaded decisions too.
Mhm.
At least as many of them.
he's played like an MVP since the bye.
Yeah, his honestly his cadence is kind of annoying, but it's working really well for him.
It's super annoying, but like
Here we go.
you have to pull yourself away from like the actual thing that you're hearing and understand that it's a timing mechanism. Like
Mhm.
that's the only thing that, like, when you hear Aaron Rodgers talk about it, like that's the difference in him being able to manipulate defenses and knowing where someone's going to be every time he hits a back foot.
Well, it's like with defense, you run a base 3 or a cover 3, most teams do, and then you do things off of it to deviate. So if you can establish one certain cadence, which is the same thing over and over and over again, you can alter it a little bit here and there to
you show them the same thing every time, so they never know what you're doing and they have to react after the snap. That's how you play elite offense and defense in the NFL. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
And it looks for a moment in time like the Dallas Cowboys have an offense and a defense that can do that.
and a special teams.
Also
Yeah.
true.
They're a very well-rounded team. I mean, they, to me, are the closest thing to the 49ers. And
Man, this playoff loss is going to break my heart. Oh,
Their
geez.
field goal kicker hit a 59 and a 60-yarder, and they didn't look tough.
Oh, man, he could have hit that 60 from. He could have hit a 70-yard field goal.
I think
Like,
you're right.
they
Probably.
would think it was just a rocket.
And then you got Turpin as a return man, who was one of the most electric ones in the league. They got
Yes.
3 phases.
Yeah, they got a good team, man. I
God, I
mean,
hope they can capitalize now.
yeah, we'll see.
Oh, jeez.
But anyway,
Let's move
Brandon
on.
Cook's coming alive too. Brandon Cook's coming alive lately. as well.
Since the bye, they've been completely different. I've said this to Jake a couple times, but maybe Mike McCarthy was the answer. Like we all said, oh no, Kellen Moore is gone. Now Mike McCarthy's the one call the plays. Everyone goes, no. You gave him a bye week, and Dak Prescott out there looking like Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, he looks good. Like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. All right, he's not Aaron Rodgers, but he's been playing well. I mean, he's Dak Prescott. They're different quarterbacks, but he looks good. Anyway, I gotta defend my man. But anyway, let's get into some matchups here. Keep it moving. We pulled out a little bit of a squeaker against Todd there. We did get a little nervous when Tyreek went down. And I was just watching the way that Packers game was going. I'm like, oh my god.
There was a way on Monday that you could have let it slip, but he came back and both of those touchdowns went to Mostert. Both of them did.
Yep.
Todd had his worst week since week 1 this week. Worst week since week 1.
Hey, Patrick, how does it feel knocking him out of the playoffs after he stole that jersey from you and then said it never mattered?
He stole the jersey by putting up 140 points in 2 consecutive weeks, and then makes the playoffs and puts up 82.
Where was this week? Last week when I had a jersey on the line, for God's sakes. But you know what? We're thinking about it. I'm glad they happened in the order that they did because it's the reason we're moving on.
Because there was only one thing that matters.
I think Achane coming back towards the end of the year. Look, we thought in the middle of the year, oh man, Todd's team's going to get Achane back. End of the year, it's going to be great. But the Jeff Wilson, Mostert, and fucking three-headed monster with Achane they got going down there. That's the reason he didn't start James Cook, which would have gotten him another 13. Wasn't enough, but
he also made a boneheaded decision starting Jalen Hurts over Matthew Stafford. You don't start average Jalen Hurts against Dallas's defense. Everybody knows it.
I mean,
it cost him. It cost him.
And he didn't start Cleveland's defense, and he started Houston's, which
as much as I'm being sarcastic, the Cleveland one was a mistake, a real one. Matthew Stafford, of course. But the Cleveland one, I believe, was a mistake from before that game ever started. I'm like, he better switch that.
I mean, that's fair. The other thing I would say, though, in Todd's defense, the first time they played the boys, Jalen Hurts put up 26 points. So, if you're looking at that, that's maybe one argument. But
if he plays James Cook instead of Achane and he plays Cleveland instead of Houston, he beats you by 2 points.
Yep. I mean, yeah, but woulda, coulda, shoulda, and I'm moving on, and Todd's not. So, sayonara, sir.
Let him have it. Let him have it, Patrick.
Todd's going to the Abyss Land where he gets to play against Strozzi for 2 weeks for no reward or punishment.
Yeah. And now the Meyer household is for sure gonna have one member in the championship this year.
True.
Yeah. Can't wait to see Erica there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think so, honestly.
I mean, we're all hoping for it.
She's got some real problems, honestly, because Josh Jacobs got hurt too. So she's gonna be wanting for a running back.
Are we moving on to that one?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's hold on. Let's pump brakes a minute. I mean, Lamar doing Lamar things. We broke that down. Tony Pollard had a nice game. Isaiah Likely was huge for your boy. Had a big game. That was an unlikely win there. Yes, good job.
Don't say that.
And then Chuba Hubbard got it all done on volume. They fed him so many touches. I mean, I think he had probably almost 30 touches in that game. 23 carries, 25 touches.
Close.
Yeah. So, I figured they were going to give him a lot of work. I was hoping he'd fall in the end zone, but he got it done. 10 points was fine there for this week. So, I don't know.
Your team did okay, but 101 is not going to take you farther unless you get lucky.
You getting by with a 101 victory in the playoffs is a gift. You just don't even look back.
To be fair, I did it 3 times last season, so it's possible. But
well, the other part of it is too is that if Tyreek has a normal Tyreek game, we're talking about we have 115. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He got hurt.
Yes.
So I was set up well. My team performed well overall outside of Stephon Diggs. Really,
but
that was the main letdown before Reek got hurt.
But McDaniel's kind of not putting him back in and then putting him back in and then taking him back out when they needed him tells me that maybe it's a little more serious and he might be kind of wearing down because they've been using that man all season.
I mean, he got Horace collared in the fucking backfield too, and I hated to see it because I'm like, it looked the whole time like he's gonna get hurt, and then they just roll on him, no flag.
It's such a ridiculous. I mean, it was the clearest horse collar in the world. He has his hand right down his back plate, man.
Yep.
Come on.
You're right. I agree.
And then, well, what I heard today was he's day to day. He's got a high ankle sprain. The one thing that I feel like could help me in that regard is that he wants to break Calvin Johnson's record. So
you're right.
Bad.
Daniels is the kind of guy that would deviate his game plan just a little bit to try and make that happen.
You think so?
Yeah,
I do.
Because they could add a scoring record against Denver this year. All they had to do is kick a field goal, and he said nope.
Yeah, but he
Yeah, I
sit
mean,
way on
I
the
don't
board.
know. I think it's
You
different.
have to at some point. You know what I mean?
Interesting. I don't know, like, because you say that, I'm like, there's direct evidence to that's not that important.
I think it might be different for a personal record versus a team record too, because like
Okay.
team record is almost like the Daniels thing, but like Tyreek Hill is such a big part of that team's personality.
He wants him to have it. Okay.
Yeah, well, the team and like keeping Tyreek Hill happy is an important thing for any team, you know, that he's on. So, I mean, the other thing is he
I
needs
mean,
about
has he ever divaed anywhere?
he divaed when he was in Kansas City.
A little bit at the end.
Yeah.
It's kind of old news now, but it was more just like the whole button heads and like getting the ball enough. But it was minor if I remember right.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It's not like the Stephon Diggs or like some of the other guys in the league.
Yeah, I guess from a wide
Brown will
receiver
do that
angle,
too.
I feel like he's been one of the best teammates from that position, because those clear number ones, they get the leash to act that way, and I don't feel like we get it out of Tyreek.
He does it off the field. Not lately, but off the field earlier on in his career, he did some stupid shit. You know,
even this last offseason, he got in some legal trouble off the field for like assaulting some person.
Couple times.
He's one of those guys that strikes me, and this could be off base, but he's rainbows and butterflies when his team's winning, and in 90% of his career, his team's been winning.
Yeah, he's been on
because of him
his whole career. You know,
Sure,
because of him.
But when they're not going well, it's got to be because of him too. And I've seen him throw some fits.
Yeah, I mean, he's about 500 yards away from that record. Missing a game would kind of, you know, he would
be a big deal, because how many? There's 3 games left.
4 games.
4 games. Oh, he's gonna get it right.
Yeah, he probably will, but he's not healthy.
Yeah, missing a game would be a big deal.
Yeah, so
especially for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, we got DK, but DK is no Tyreek Hill.
Nobody is.
Yeah. He is the one.
I mean, DK would have been all right this week. He got the big touchdown, but he didn't really do much else, and he's dealing with the fact that Geno Smith's been out. So, but outside of that, I mean, kind of down week all around for Todd, like we said. CeeDee Lamb just keeps on chugging like he has been lately. Not as big a week as he has been having, but you know they got up late in the game and they didn't need him.
Wi-Fi again.
So. What's that?
Oh, nothing. Just broke up for a second. We can move along.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, sorry about that. But just talking about CeeDee Lamb, just keep on rolling. You know, like he has been. That's all I was saying.
Right, he also got let down for like Taysom Hill missed a game. You know, and like he had that weird Taysom Hill energy going for a few weeks, putting up a lot of points, getting him a point title, but missed.
Who saw 1, the Rams putting up 31, and 2, them putting up 31 without Kyron Williams, basically. Like he played, but they scored 31 points. You imagine he's getting 25 at least, because he's been doing that in all their games that he's been playing.
Yeah, it was just Matt Stafford slinging it. He looked good out there doing it.
Matty had a good day.
He did. He looked good. That rainbow ball, the cup in the corner of the end zone, vintage. Mm-hmm. Beautiful throw. Such a good throw. But anyway, the next relevant matchup would be obviously Jacoby and Mr. Strozzi. Not really much of a matchup. I mean, Herbert,
he beat the brakes off of Strozzi 2 weeks in a row. That's personal.
That's rough.
Was it bad the week before too? I don't know what the score was.
It wasn't very close. It wasn't this bad. It wasn't 50, but it was significant.
Well, they played each other 3 times this year. Then they were the 3-time opponents. I wonder who won the first one.
I mean, honestly, to me, Jacoby's team right now, the way it's been playing the last couple of weeks, is one of the scarier teams around, because he's got Debo rolling right now, and Njoku's got it going on. I mean, all of his pieces that are kind of questionable have been coming alive lately.
Every one of them.
If he can keep that rolling, and I mean the fact that he puts up 123 with the absolute turd that Jordan Love laid out there. I mean, you know. Like he gets even a regular week out of Jordan Love, he's over 130. You know,
that's true.
So,
which he's been over 130 for 3 weeks prior to that too.
He's averaging like 127 a week through the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean,
Njoku coming alive, and he got him in a trade via the person he beat this week. Strozzi gave him that player.
However, a little asterisk on that. Joe Flacco, okay, the engineer of a lot of that Njoku madness, back down to the practice squad today. Okay, so they're gonna give it back to PJ or Dorian Thompson-Robinson.
How do you not ride out with Joe Flacco?
I don't know either, man. He looked great. He's been
Put him in
looking
the
great.
playoffs and let
You
Joe
just beat
Flacco end his career.
one of the front runners in the AFC, Jacksonville, and you don't run with
Unbelievable.
that.
How do you think how do they think they're better off with
With PJ
DTR
Walker?
or PJ Walker? Like, what are you doing?
Unbelievable.
Like Flacco, is a
Unbelievable.
If
proven
nothing
winner.
else, it's a storyline, and it's going to be the best available option to
Mhm.
bring happiness to your fans for the last 4 weeks before
Yeah.
you go on vacation.
I
And
really don't understand.
let's make them miserable and watch PJ Walker some more.
Well, hopefully PJ Walker and David Njoku don't like each other.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, well, for your sake,
Yeah, I don't know if
for
I feel
all our
that way.
sakes. I would much rather play you in the championship
I
than
bet you
than
would.
Jacoby,
I bet you're
honestly.
the only one that wants to see me there.
No, I would love to play you in the championship.
I can't wait to play Eric
Yeah.
at the championships.
No, I'd
it's
love
not
to
gonna
play in
happen.
the championship too. I just
Yeah,
don't
but
have
you
that
can't.
option.
Sorry, bud.
Hey,
Yeah,
everybody
man.
would love to. Everybody would love to.
Anyway, so I mean, yeah, Strozzi obviously, he loses Herbert, he's out of there, gone for the year. Gibbs had a fine day. Gibbs really kind of held down my Montgomery, which we didn't like that. But Najee, that game was fucking gross. Let's not even remember what happened on Thursday night. That was a disgusting game. Oh
It
my
ended
God.
up being a better game than we thought.
It did, but good God, they were trying to give the game to
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky,
They
and
were.
Mitch Trubisky was like, "No, here, you take it
No,
back.
guys, stop.
You
They
guys,
told me I
you guys
can't
have
win.
it. I
It
don't want
was-
to win."
Still miles ahead of the Vikings Raiders game.
That was an all-time bad. That was an
0-0
all-time bad game.
until the 2-minute warning in the fourth quarter.
Oh man,
Ugh.
that's pretty freaking bad.
They
man.
showed the graphic for all the drives to start the half, and it was punt, 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 punt. I think like missed field goal, punt, punt, and then the only other drive that didn't end in a punt ended because it was just the end of the half.
And the Josh Dobbs era has officially ended. It's going to be Nick Mullins' time now. So that was fun while it lasted.
That was short-lived.
Yes, it was.
It was long enough.
It was fun. He had a little thing there for a
It was a
minute.
good time.
And then there was an apt analysis comparing him to Jeremy Lin because that's exactly who he was this year. And then what else you got going on there? Justin Jefferson also. As soon I feel like I cursed him because remember I texted on Sunday. It's nice seeing JJ back. Literally a minute later, gets just completely shellacked in the ribs and out of there. And I'm like, good God,
maybe even if you're going to be in the playoffs, you ain't gonna do anything. Let him rest. Like try again next year.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys are
So
done.
You push it too hard, you're going to miss him for another season.
Yeah, don't do that. And the reports were that maybe he had a lacerated kidney. Like that's the same thing that happened to that Colorado kid, Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
When he got that dirty hit on him by the
Dirty
Colorado
as hell.
boy. It was so dirty.
Filthy.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, the other side we kind of talked about a little bit. Deebo Samuel has been absolutely on fire lately.
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know
just-
who made him mad, but I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, you don't want to make that dude mad. He's just nasty after the catch. He's one of the best after the catch that I've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like he just has a way of getting loose, and then he's got open field speed to get it done. You know what I mean?
He's just
So
one of
much
those.
power,
He's one of those
too.
hybrid players. He's he's a quicker version of Vernon Davis. Man can block, he can run, he can catch. He's just always in position.
Yeah. I mean, and that's kind of what we were saying too, like with the way the Niners have been playing ball this year. Like there's not a team in the league that I've seen that plays with that level of physicality at all positions. Because all of them do it. You know what I mean?
Look, I've been saying for a long time, you're not going to want McCaffrey and Samuel on the same squad, and it's going to cost you in the playoffs. Now, there's a month of that shit being wrong as hell.
Yeah.
I mean, wrong as hell. And, man, wouldn't that just be a fucking shame?
I mean, that's
if the
what
Niners are just so in control against the Cardinals that neither of those guys just have a lot of fantasy numbers.
Yeah, Deebo Samuel's last 3
Wouldn't
weeks
it?
is combined for over 80 points by himself.
I think what you better hope for, Cody, is that the defense comes out, scores like 3 defensive touchdowns.
I do wish that. Yes.
Because then he'll sit them all. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I want to happen. I want to
Deebo's,
see Elijah Mitchell put up like 190 and 2 touches. That's what I want to see.
Deebo Samuel and Christian McCaffrey. Add up their totals for the last 3 weeks and combine them, and they've got 150 points.
That's
for
wild.
Jacoby.
It's wild.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I mean, and Puka's still doing it too. Now that Matty Ice is doing the damn thing. Puka's putting in good weeks.
Puka's really good.
Kamara's been just getting it done on volume. So
like Puka Nacua has not been involved at all in the discussions of best rookie receiver, like
for last month because he cooled the fuck off.
Look at his numbers over the season, and he's better than all of them.
Yeah,
so,
who's better than him? I mean, Tank Dell's out of the race now.
Right. I mean, Zay Flowers is probably the answer, right?
Yeah. Probably.
If not Zay, I think he's the number 2. I'm just saying that I think that's why people stopped talking about it as much. Because the last month,
I mean, he didn't have the hype as any of the other guys, but he's just all season long. He's been really, really good, and it was weird watching him make diving catches with no gloves in that game against Baltimore. Like he's really good, and he's really big, and he's the biggest. He's the biggest find late in a receiver class that we've seen in a while.
Oh yeah, he's the wide receiver 10 on the year as a rookie, so it's got to be. Zay Flowers is not top 10, I don't believe.
I don't think so.
No, Zay Flowers is having a really nice year, but he hasn't as many touchdowns or anything like that. So
he might have more touchdowns actually, but the yards aren't close.
You think so? I think they didn't have a touchdown until just recently.
Oh, is that real?
It is.
I know because that was real for Puka.
Zay didn't have a touchdown until like a few weeks ago.
Zay's got 7 touchdowns and Puka's got 4.
Okay.
Receiving touchdowns. That's what I meant. Not running. But anyway.
Okay.
And also you look at the yardage difference. Puka's got like 400 more yards.
Oh yeah. That one's not close.
So and the other aspect too, like we can go down. I honestly think as long as CJ Stroud isn't out more than a week, when he comes back, if he finishes the year strong, he's got to be rookie of the year. I mean, who wins it over him? Right?
I think you're right. Yeah,
but he's still got to do it.
He does. He's got to have 2-3 more solid games, and I think he's got it locked up. But
then they'll
obviously had the biggest impact.
There'll be an NFL like rookie of the year, or I'm sorry, offensive rookie of the year, or is it NFC offensive rookie of the year? Is that how they break it down?
I think they do it by conference, but I think there is an overall rookie of the year. Is there not? I think there's.
There absolutely is.
There's an offensive rookie of the year. There's a defensive rookie of the year.
Okay.
I think they do it by conference too, though. I want to say, but I don't know.
They might.
I don't know. I don't think so. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think that's. I think there's an offensive rookie of the year. I think there's a defensive rookie of the year. I think it's just plain.
Who do you think gets defensive? Who we got defensive? Like who can you think of as a rookie, as a defender that has just been dominant? Like, Derek Stingley's in his second year, right? It's not his first year. He's played.
I don't even know who that is.
Who's the Jalen Carter?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Nolan Smith.
Don't put up fucking highlights against Tyler Smith.
It looks like the Vegas odds favorite right now is Jalen Carter, and the 2 behind him are Devin Witherspoon for the Seahawks and Will Anderson, Texans.
Okay. And Will Anderson was the number 2 overall pick too.
What if the Texans get the offensive and defensive rookie of the year
with the number 1 and number 2 overall picks? I mean,
that means well done.
Well done.
Yeah, you picked well, boys. It seems like they have, but man, they gotta recover from that hot turd they laid the other day. But anyway, I mean that's kind of the wrap on that matchup. Sad to see Strozy go down with such a piss poor performance, but if I'm being honest, out of all the teams, I mean, I think Strozy may have had one of the weaker squads, to be fair. But
he was in the same living room as Corey and I the other day, talking about how he's very surprised he made the playoffs.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's or not.
I mean, he had a solid squad, but I just don't think he had the firepower to really make it through.
He was the glass. He was one of the glass cannons of the league. He was capable of putting up 140, 150, and he was capable of stinking it the fuck up with a 70 burger, and that's what he did this week.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could say that about Todd. Like that's
good. You could say that about Erica too.
Say that about everybody with me, guys, because I haven't really done that all year. That's some average weeks. Haven't had any really shitty weeks. But anyway.
It's nice. I also blew up Alan for that fucking trade he made you. Oh, just so we can get it on the recording. Yeah. On the recording. I held up a little thing up there. I was like, if you guys remember, who made the worst trade of last season? Do you remember? It was Taylor Henderson for Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Good God, what a
Allen
shit
made that.
there was.
You know who made the worst trade in my brain this season? Allen. That's 2 years in a row that man's made the worst trade in the league.
Well, hey, man,
One
I
of
don't
them
know.
resulted
I
in
mean,
a champion.
Yeah, I don't know. They might both result in
They might.
championships. Yeah.
They might.
So,
But not for Allen.
anyhow, yeah. Well, hey, man, maybe he's the kingmaker. Maybe that's his role in the league.
He should change his name to
Yeah.
Allen, never the king again.
The king who never was.
That's
Anyway.
Allen, the king creator. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Because he's putting us on top.
I like kingmaker.
Kingmaker's good.
I like kingmaker.
But anyway.
Consensus, Allen, you got to change your name now.
He's the kingmaker.
Anyway.
Trade with me next year.
Yeah. No, dude, he's always going to trade with me. Come on now. Anyway, so let's quickly run through the other matchups. There's only a few of them here.
Let's announce winners.
Trisha,
Can we touch on mine real quick? Because, like, God damn it, I put up 130. My team did what I thought they were gonna do at the end of the year all season. One, doesn't matter because I'm in the loser bracket. Two, it couldn't even save me from the Sacco because I go against the guy who got 40 points from his kicker and his defense to put up 144.
He got 0 from Gabe Davis.
The second highest score of the week, and I still lost. So I'm still in the running for Sacco. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Breece Hall, 22. Austin Eckler, 19. Fuck Patrick Mahomes. That guy has been booty hole. And watching him whine this week, oh, man, made me reevaluate some things.
Really left a sour taste in your mouth, didn't it?
Really did.
Hey, Luis, nice job getting that bum off your team, dude. Good trade.
For Jonathan Taylor, who's also out.
Don't justify it now.
Dude, he raped you, man.
I'm just saying that both sides of that trade were bullshit. We both traded garbage to the other person, except for George Kittle. I wish I had kept him.
Yeah, George Kittle kept it moving.
Luis, the trade raper. That's gotcha by handing you that bomb.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he got me by letting me spoon feed him through why he should make the trade.
You never saw it coming.
Oh my god!
Never saw it coming.
Well, fuck.
So hey, no Sacco for Brant.
No Sacco for Brant, and no Sacco for Luis.
Yeah.
Traded right out of that.
Yeah, it's so funny. What's funny too is you get completely boned by the offense that has been so maligned all year long. You get Drake London having a career day, and then you get Bijan putting up 17 in the same game.
What did I tell you? Every week I go against a player that has their best week of the season. And he did it by 7 points. It's just not been my year, man. It's not been my year.
Hasn't been your year.
And I think,
hey, it's hard to be on top, isn't it?
Yeah, man. I mean, you had your fun. The fantasy gods say that's what they said to you.
Hey, you gotta spread the love. I had it for a whole season. I gotta let one of you schmucks have it for a year.
Yeah. Well, anyhow,
first schmuck in line right here.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
No, second. You're the number 2 seed, sir.
I think Cody's got the weakest team, to be honest with you, with the injuries.
I've been saying that for 12 weeks.
I have been saying that. And
we've been saying it for 12 weeks because it's just the truth.
It's floating by on shit performances and just having somebody else put up a shittier one. Anyway. So,
here we go again.
I guess so. But anyhow, let's move on from that one. Let's do the cripple fight of the week, Luis and Austin. And Austin's right to feel upset because 9 points out of Tua. All he needed was like an average week, and he's out of the Sacco race and just could not get it done against the Titans.
Hold on, though. That's not the most egregious thing happening here. Gus Edwards, who's been his guy all year long, there's a 35-point overtime game, and you get 1.5 out of Gus Edwards against the Rams.
He got 6 carries.
What is that?
Well, they were giving the ball to Keaton Mitchell, and also they were slinging it that game. And also Lamar was running the ball a lot.
Everybody was slinging it that game, and it was a rain game.
Didn't matter. They were all kind of yards everywhere, and players were not really dropping the ball, No. So
weird game. Weird game.
It was a weird game. Yeah, I mean, the other performances to note, Derrick Henry got it done on the touchdowns. Michael Pittman had a nice week. Michael Pittman felt to me when I was watching that game, and then I see the stat line afterwards, it's like, how did he only have 8 catches? It felt like every time they threw the ball, Michael Pittman was getting 7, 8 yard out route, getting a first down. Like he was very involved in that game. Um, which unfortunately ended up being a loss for them, but it felt like he was doing more than just 8 catches. And
Let's
then George Kittle.
let's slide out of these. We agreed not to go down all the players on some of these matchups that don't mean anything. So we can jump into the matchups for this upcoming week.
Yeah, let's do it. Trish, congratulations on being one step closer to not being in the Sacco. She put up a nice week. I think that's all that's warranted being mentioned there.
Okay.
Let's move on to the matchups for next week.
To the semifinals.
Yeah,
or do you want to cover the losers first?
Well,
cover why it matters, but we don't need to go on to.
Yeah, we won't, but let's cover them first.
Well,
so you got the tiers of the bracket, right? So if I pull it up real quick, hold on, sorry.
Yeah, we got Luis and Brandt, who are immune from any consequences, so we don't even need to talk about it.
Nope. The other one we don't need to mention at all is the Strozzi versus Todd.
Oh yeah, I was not going to mention that.
For 5th place.
They're in the abyss.
Yeah.
Is Trish gonna throw you on down into Sacco land, Jake? Because you lose one more here, man.
Losers of myself and
that's what we're back. Keep it going.
Sorry. The losers of my matchup with Trisha and the matchup between Austin and Allen will play for last place next week.
Oh man. I can't believe how far you've fallen.
Dude, I know, and I'm in a fucking death spiral. I'm doing almost the exact trajectory Dave did last year. And if I go full circle on that, I gotta eat that crow in the off season. It's gonna suck.
Oh, it'll be
but
funny.
It's possible.
It'll
I put up 130 this week. I shouldn't have to deal with this bullshit.
She put up 119, man. You better put up 130 again, dude.
Yeah,
I'm not going to.
Oh man!
So I just gotta. Hey, you know what? Good luck next week, Alex. It's gonna be me and you.
Oh no!
Oh Jesus! Going from hero to zero all in the course of a year.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
That would be wild, especially after the draft you had. We all worried about you.
When I'm going through this prognostications to get the picks for the weeks prior, and I just told Cody this the other day. There were so many weeks where one of us would look at my team and go, I can't pick against a team that has that guy and that guy and that guy and that guy. So it wasn't a bad team.
I mean, it was.
Ideally, and then nothing fucking
theoretically, it was not a bad team.
On paper, you've had the best team all year long. I mean, Fantasy Pros has agreed too. You were the top rank for the
And if I didn't have all that bullshit that happened the first 4 weeks, then maybe I get the last spot. But it was just enough bad things to happen at every point of the season.
I think you took one too many risks.
That's 100%. 100%.
Maybe instead of taking 3 or 4 of those guys, you take only 2. And
here's the deal, and then I'll stop blabbing about my team that's fighting for last place because it doesn't need that much attention. But last year going into the draft, my strategy, I told myself plain as day, I'm either coming in first place this year or I'm coming in last place this year. I'm not doing this 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th bullshit I've been doing for years. And it worked out, and I took some weird chances. Some of them paid off. I got lucky, and I won. So I carried that into this year, and I said, I'm either coming in first or I'm coming in last.
No.
It's played out there. Yeah.
It ain't first.
I mean, I had a similar feeling this year, too. I mean, that's why I bet heavily on the wide receivers, because I feel like in fantasy, the wide receivers that can completely go nuclear are what takes you to the top, And if you can put a string of those guys together, that's how you can do it. And that's what's been doing it for me this year. And then hopefully you can find your way at running back, which seems like finally at the end of the year here, I finally have. I mean, I got some consistent guys.
Thank you, Alan.
It's true.
What a line, what a landmine field the fucking running back room has been this year. It's been so bad.
That's why you get wide receivers. They get hurt less.
That's why
you do it.
That's why receivers make more money than running backs too.
Absolutely true.
Same scenario. Follow the contracts, draft accordingly.
It's true.
Except for quarterbacks.
Well, yeah, but
Unless
if the
you can get
NFL
Christian
believes in
McCaffrey.
them, that means they're probably good.
Mhm.
You know, believe enough to pay them.
That's right.
So, anyway, should we skip back to the
winners.
the winners
The
bracket here?
the winners.
I honestly like my odds against Erica this week, which of course I would, right? But
Of course you would.
Fantasy Pros also agrees with me. They're giving me a 70% chance to win this matchup. I put it in there this morning. They
She's
like
got-
my matchups a lot
She's
more.
either got to play a tough Trevor Lawrence matchup against Baltimore, or she's got to play Sam Howell.
Dude, I love that their quarterbacks are going against each other. Just for that, I hope she leaves them in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Just to see QB on QB crime happen.
And that means Calvin Ridley and Isaiah Likely will be on opposite sides of that same matchup too.
But if
We
I'm
have
America,
5
how do you
players
not
in
look
that
at that
game.
Rams game and not think it's got to be Sam Howell? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like
no, dude.
I don't know about that
you gotta
one.
play Sam
I
Howell.
always say I don't know because I just watched the Rams put up over 30 against
Mhm.
Baltimore.
And
Yeah.
they played with a lot of confidence. And Sam Howell is a mercurial player who takes
Mhm.
a whole lot of sacks and can easily turn the ball over 4 times.
Well, do you want
Yeah.
to see Sam Howell against the Rams, or do you want to see Trevor Lawrence against Baltimore?
I want to see Trevor Lawrence because she's got Calvin Ridley.
Oof.
Yep. She's
All
going
right.
to need a big week, man. I mean, I think
She is.
I think,
She is going to need a big week. You're
because
gonna
I
put
think-
together probably 102, so she's got to get at least 104.
The only other time you guys played each other this year, she beat you by 0.12.
I know. It's revenge
Mm.
time. Revenge time when it matters most.
Mm.
I told her as soon as I won last night, I looked right dead in her eye. I was like, I'm going to kick your ass this week. So I told her. She was intimidated. She felt it. Anyway, if you can't intimidate your wife, what's marriage for, huh? Anyway,
I think Hawkinsaw is going to put up 25 this week.
Ooh.
I mean, he might. I mean, the weakness of that defense is in the middle of the field. Their outside corners are good, but they're soft in the middle. So,
God, if Tyreek kills 100% against the Jets, you might be in trouble.
I know.
Oh,
he
you
is,
might be in
he-
trouble.
Who? I might or she might?
Yeah, you. If he's not 100%
Oh,
against
yeah.
the Jets, he might have 15 yards on 2 catches, and they call it.
Well, there's 2 things in play here.
He might
One,
have 18 points on 2 catches. That's what he did to the Jets last time.
Oh, it's true. Remember how they just wouldn't put Sauce Gardner on him?
no, he had more than 18, man. He had like 20.
Well, I mean, he had
At
18.5 in like the first way through the first quarter, and then he
Yeah.
mellowed out after that. But it didn't matter.
Well, they didn't need him at all. But
You're right.
the thing that I'm hoping for is that I clearly know his status and like he's got 3 limited practices in a row, and they're like he's a full go. Cool. What I don't want is he's in Sunday morning.
Oh, he's going. Don't you worry about it.
Yeah, and then Sunday morning he's like, nope. And that's what
You
I
know
don't-
what? We're going to keep him out today.
Yeah, that would.
I'm looking at your lineups, and unless you swap somebody in, you've got 4 people that aren't a kicker or a defense going against either Philly, the Jets, the Bills, or Dallas.
Well,
We
Philly's
ain't worried
garbage
about
on
Philly and
defense, so
Buffalo.
we don't need to worry about that anymore.
I'm not worried about Philly and Buffalo at all.
Mm-mm.
They both have shitty defenses. So
Yeah. Which
Um,
our brains tell us differently, but there was a time in which you couldn't run on Philly at least, but their secondary is really bad. Their
you
secondary
can
is
also
really
run the
bad.
ball on them now too. Like,
You
they've
can.
not been good against the run in the last 3
If you're
weeks.
Dallas, you can do whatever the fuck you want to them. As
Yeah,
DeMarcus
that's true.
Laura said, you punch some motherfuckers in the mouth and then punch them
Over
again.
and over and over again
And then
I mean,
when they
were-
quit,
were whacking,
punch them again.
and
they
again.
were whacking them off, man. I tell you.
Hey.
But anyway, all we can hope for is that Stephon Diggs finds some room against that secondary. That's what we got to hope for there. We
Yeah,
need
you
to
gotta
get
hope for
10
it.
points out of them at least. But
I
we'll
mean,
see.
Dallas defense does love giving up the big bomb over the top, with or without Diggs. They'll play enough coverage to try and get those turnovers down low, but they're going to give you something on the top.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't figure out how to cover DK, but DK is a very different wide receiver than Stephon Diggs. They couldn't handle the physicality
Yeah.
there, but
I can see Gabe Davis giving us more fits than Stephon Diggs will.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you saw they just put Stephon Gilmore on AJ Brown, so like
He didn't
they
exist.
didn't want DK Metcalf thing to happen again, and they had Bland on Metcalf because they were like, all right, we'll have Bland here with safety help, and then Gilmore go 1-on-1 with Lockett, and that shut down Lockett, but the DK Metcalf had a huge game. So I said, well, we just won't do that again. It's almost like you watch someone like learn from their mistakes, and they actually do it, and you're like, oh my god, I feel like I've seen this before, but then they don't make that adjustment.
Well, but here's the thing, though. I feel like Gilmore matches up extremely well with physical wide receivers, and
Yeah.
Bland matches up better with shifty wide receivers. So would you not think that they put Bland on Diggs in that case? They put Gilly on
Because they only got one guy. They only got one guy.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I don't know.
like Gabe Davis went 0 for 0 with no one like killer on him last week. I think Stephon Gilmore is on Stephon Diggs.
But we also all know that Gabe Davis put up 0, and the next week he put up 40. That's what Gabe Davis does.
Yeah, but he's a lot closer to 0 than 40 every week.
Lately,
It's not a 50-50 shot, is what I'm saying. You know?
Not as much as it used to be, but Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. So we'll see.
Say it again.
What's up? I mean, it's just real. He's a better quarterback.
Not enough people admit that.
He is, though. He throws the ball better. There's things that Jalen Hurts does better. I think, but
leads the team
Josh
better.
Allen is a
QB
better
sneaks. That's about it.
That's about it.
He runs the ball maybe a little bit better, but Josh Allen obviously can run the ball. So
yeah,
Josh Allen's got more rushing touchdowns than Jalen Hurts too.
Is that true?
Career wise, yeah.
Career, yeah, but he's been playing longer. But
How much longer?
A couple of years. But anyhow. So let's keep moving. Your Jalen Hurts hate. It's such a fucking bit in the show.
Hey, but, when you get the chance to shine, you got to do it because they're not going to put the spotlight on you every time.
Well, and you're wrong most of the time, but you've been right lately. Anyway, so who you guys got this one? I'm picking me. Who you got?
I'm probably picking you too.
Right.
Yeah. I think
well,
so.
You got to remember, she's probably not having. She probably doesn't have Josh Jacobs.
I know. That's why I'm there, and like I just don't know what you can get from Jamar Chase. Yeah, I like the matchup in the secondary, but
I see you've got options to swap in at least one or two, and I don't see it for her. And you're already favored by 10. I think it's probably your week.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you're favored for a reason. Yeah, it's probably you.
Right,
I think so, man. It's going to be that championship year.
Unanimous.
Anyway,
hey, making it to the championship isn't a win. Okay, just ask Cody.
Yeah, but you know what? You got to be there to win, and I'm going to be there. So let's do it. Anyway, I think Jacoby's going to beat the brakes off of you this week.
Why do you think that?
Happen. Because your team sucks.
You got Ezekiel Elliott projected 14. What?
Ramondre Stevens gone.
Probably out again, which sucks for me because he was getting it going and then he got hurt.
Which is crazy because Ezekiel Elliott got 29 touches last week, and he's fresh because they ain't used them all fucking year.
Dude, looking at my team, seeing Dak, Zeke, and the Dallas defense, and I'm in here in the semifinal. That feels so good. That speaks to my heart in so many ways.
Yeah, also, your team's putting on some shit.
You got a chance to get Aaron Jones back this week too. He's probably coming back.
But I am not holding my fucking breath, man. You'll notice that he is currently not in there. It's going to be between him and Odell. That's the line. I feel better about leaving Odell in there right now. I'm telling you that.
We're going to get more loving from DeAndre Swift too. He just came out of his 3-week gauntlet of Buffalo, San Francisco, and Dallas. He's going to get a little bit more favorable matchup in Seattle.
And Jalen Hurts doesn't look very good as a thrower right now, so everybody's asking them to run the ball.
They're going to beat the shit out of Seattle.
Like that? There's one more. There's one more. And they're going to run all over him.
They probably will. Amon Ra does have a tough matchup. He's got Pat Surtain, and Pat Surtain's been doing it this year. So
yes,
Amon Ra is great, but that matchup's going to decide a lot for you too because he's one of your big dogs.
Alvin Kamara is going against the Giants. Deebo Samuel and McCaffrey are going against the Cardinals. And Njoku and Elijah Moore are going against Chicago. Their quarterback's going against Tampa Bay. He's got nobody in his way. If he'd have to shit the bed all on his own.
Yeah. I mean, he has. I'm picking Jacoby because he's got the better matchups all the way around. You better just hope.
Don't forget, he's also got a better team.
He does have a better team.
I think that's what he was saying.
Yeah.
I think that's what the point he was making all around. That's what that means.
Well, just to be clear.
Just to be clear.
Yeah, I think your luck is about to dry up right when
all of you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be there again.
I don't think
like
so.
I always am.
Are there
We're
any
gonna
Monday
name
night
this the,
matchups
Pat
in
Meyer
this one?
Invitational.
What's the Monday night game this week? So we
It's
know if it's going to come down to the wire at all.
Philly,
Yeah,
Seattle.
Philly, Seattle.
Oh shit! Okay,
Yeah.
It'd
so
be
it's
funny.
gonna.
And
it
by the
could
way,
be- it
by the
could
way,
be
I
down
got
to
him.
DeAndre Swift.
I got DeAndre Swift from Jacoby.
That's what I was just gonna say. It'd be
So-
funny if he hung
so-
himself with giving you the running back you
For
needed.
Puka though. Let's see what Puka does.
It's direct.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, there's so much
Juicy.
spice.
So I'm
Juicy.
picking Jacoby and Patrick championship
Let's do it.
Mm.
Let's do it.
based on these
Eric-
matchups.
Erica,
Yo.
I'll see you in the championship.
The all Seaside Jiu-Jitsu Championship. The days of old.
Boo.
The
You
old
gonna get another
dog
decal
house.
to put on your fucking truck, you fucking colt.
Hey man, we never forget.
Hey,
Still
hey.
got love for those
Hey.
guys.
Hey,
Hey,
let's go roll around.
hey.
we got anything? Nice. See what you did there. We got anything else to cover here? Do we want to break down any other matchups? Is it necessary?
I think we're good.
Okay.
We already talked
Nah.
about the implications, but who cares?
We
about
already
the-
did it.
It's fighting for not last
This
place.
is it. This is it.
Let's
This is
do
the
it.
big window.
This is the
This
one.
is where y'all can't stop me.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
one where y'all get disappointed.
He's been saying
every-
for weeks. He's been building for weeks 15 or 14 and
Mhm.
15.
Not
building
14
a,
because of the bye.
building a house of
15 and
turds for week
16.
15.
That's right.
It's slowly building a
So
house.
when he puts up a 70 burger for 2 weeks in a row, we can laugh extra hard. Sorry, third week in a row.
There
it's
you
gonna be
go.
hilarious.
There you go. Third
Builds
week.
the squad and he puts up 50. That I'm gonna laugh so hard.
It'd be hard not to laugh at it.
I can't wait for that pod if you lose. Anyway, it'd be funny if we both lose. And then we're both like, all right, guys. So
We're not
No
doing
pod- no pod
championship
this
pod
week.
episode.
yeah, well, I'll just have Erica, host it next week if she
You
wins.
just send a text message out on Thursday and be like, oh, so news, last week's episode was actually the last one. See y'all next year.
Yeah. We'll recover for 6 months and then we'll get excited in about August again when our hearts have finally healed. But anyway, yeah, man, it's been a fun season. It's getting down to the nitty gritty for us to crown a champion and a captain of the turds, otherwise known as a Sacco. And we still got to come up with punishment. We got all off season to do that.
Well, that's
Poop
one of
soup.
the things I was going to bring up too. There was some discussion in the group chat about changing the punishment for this year, and I think that that's a tough thing to do when the playoff bracket has already started, because the people in the winners bracket that have no skin in the game can make it as nasty a punishment as they possibly could. And the whole point of it is that everybody has that same fear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you got to stick with some sort of down Broadway shaming. It can look different costumes or this and that, but I think we should keep it the same and then vote on a new one for next year.
Yeah, it's got to be agreed on before the draft happens,
Mhm.
because you do have to vote with a little bit of fear, just a little bit.
And I think we go with that.
Not any from me, so everyone's understood. But
I think we
I'm
go
sorry,
like,
sir. Didn't you have a jersey ruined from tomatoes?
yeah, I did.
that I cleaned for you, by the way.
I
You left it at the house
internalized
for a
that
month.
feeling and have been in the championship since. I want you to
There
know
you
that
go.
it's your
Hey,
guys' fault.
You're welcome.
You did it. I
welcome.
got
Yeah, well,
butter.
You're not gonna be there this year. So anyway,
Mm.
better luck next year, sir.
See you in a week.
Anyway, I think that'll do it, guys. Thank you. We'll see you on the other side, and we'll be talking about who between me and Cody's in the championship, who's not. Maybe none of us. Who knows? We'll see. Yeah, dude, you're gonna be eating that. Anyway, so we're done. We're out of here. Nice.
Goodbye and good riddance.
Yeah.